all around me. In those days, in my crowd, if you walked into a party or into a group, just say some people were stopping by to listen to some music, somebody was bound to say, "Hey, I got a joint." And we'd all get excited, we'd all get happy. And then they would pass the joint and we'd listen to music or talk or dance or do whatever. And it happened at every single gathering we were in. And then at some point, I noticed it didn't happen in my group. Did it have to do with aging? Were we just getting older? I don't know. But it's been a long time since I've gone to a party and someone has said, "Hey, I got a joint or a pipe."
Right, right. Real quick, I want to apologize to our viewers because, believe it or not, on Debbie, for the longest we weren't on. I had read a text from one of the viewers that said, "Hey, are you guys on?" And finally, I looked and said, "Oh, wait a minute, we're not even on." Excuse our technical difficulties, people. We're without Boom today.
Oh, we weren't
Like I
on.
said, yeah, we weren't even
You
on the
mean
whole
all
time.
of those words of wisdom
All,
are
all,
lost?
well,
Oh
they're not
man.
lost because people can go back and see it, but now to see the beginning of the show, you got to go to YouTube to see the beginning of the show, folks. That's my fault.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
yeah, they
Okay.
still can catch it, but now you got to go see the beginning. You got to go back and
Okay.
watch YouTube. But we are here, people, and I apologize for that and a technical difficulty. I'm not even on my usual computer that I normally use. Also, I have problems with my usual computer, so I'm using another computer today. So forgive my technical difficulties, people. I'm trying to keep it going for y'all. All right. But like I said, Boom had an
Okay.
emergency, so he's not with us today. And on Debbie and I are soldiering on without him. I just want to
Hey,
make that point.
I got something to say.
Okay.
About it.
Yeah, I know. I'm still working out the kinks, people, but
Yeah.
we're here. We are here,
Yeah.
and like we. Mhm.
No. Go ahead.
And like I said, today's discussion is about the cannabis nation, and there you have it. And I was just saying that I'm a smoker, and Debbie's not a smoker, and we were talking about people's opinions on the subject. And I know Debbie was just talking about how it used to come around at parties. For me, honestly,
I've
my
been a
first
smoker. I have
right.
smoked, so I have smoked in the past, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't ever again. I went to a
Mm,
party, I think it was last year, with some young, I was the only elder, and there were a bunch of young people, and I said, "Where's the host?" And somebody said, and I busted in that. I said, "What y'all doing in here?" And you should have seen them jump, like they were my children. And so to be
yeah.
social, I took a little, and because I had also had wine, I had to take a cab home.
Oh yeah. Well, that was a responsible thing to
So
do,
that was
and
last
there's
year.
nothing wrong with that.
Last year.
Okay. And you were
Yeah.
responsible about it, and that's the way to do it.
Well,
If I'm being honest, my first introductions to cannabis, to marijuana, people, if I'm being honest, was behind my father. If I'm being honest, and people, please, if you have stories to tell, your opinions, please chime in, put your comments up. We'll be more than happy to put them on the show. But my first experiences with marijuana was behind my father. My father was a smoker when we were kids, and I'm going way back. And of course, we used to find things around the house, whether it be roaches sitting in the ashtray that was forgotten, or
oh,
whether it was the little baggies they used to come in. For those older smokers, you might remember they used to come in the brown envelopes way before they came in plastic. I'm going back. I'm taking y'all back. That's
oh
right,
no.
y'all. Y'all about to have a history lesson. They used to come in brown envelopes, and so yeah, the envelopes would be around, or I'd find seeds or roaches, and one day, kids being curious, the same way I started experimenting with alcohol. Yeah, I lit one up. Of course I did. I lit one up, and again, my first experience is like, oh, well, I don't like this. This is crazy. I don't even understand what they see in this. But
How old were
after years,
you?
oh,
How
if I'm
old were
being,
you?
don't make me be honest. Don't
7,
make me tell the
8,
truth.
9,
I'm gonna say
10.
I'm gonna say I had to be, because this was before we even moved from North to the shore. So I'm gonna say I had to be around 8 or 9 years old, and I'm being very honest, people. So my first experiences with marijuana was around when I was about 8 or 9 years old. That's how early and if those who've been watching the show and been following, you know my experiences with alcohol too. So yeah, I started on these things young, younger than a lot of people do. Did. That's just my story. It is what it is. But at that age, of course, smoking. I mean, you're not attracted to it. At least not me or most people. I would think it's smoking, and you're 8 years old. You're coughing. You don't like it. But as the years go on, you know, and you start smoking it with friends or trying it with friends and things like that, it gets a little more tolerable. It gets to look or be accepted more, and yeah, and then you're off and running. But you know that's my story. People have been smoking weed for what I do my research, because I had to research this. Even though I've been a smoker all my life, I had to research this. People smoking marijuana for centuries now, and from what I'm finding out is that it actually started in parts of Asia. Of course, behind the opium plants and things like that. Marijuana is a form of opiate, if you want to call it that. And so it actually started in parts of Asia. Tribal thing that they used to when they used it. From my understanding, and then people chime in if you know better than I do, but for funerals or things like that, they would burn marijuana in these brown, look like barrels or whatever, and they would dance and do whatever they do and everything, and people would feel good, and that's how it started. And my understanding was the first people to actually smoke it in pipes were when the Europeans started coming around. When the Europeans start coming around, from my understanding, that's when people started smoking it in pipes and things of that nature. Far as I know, far as I can remember, I'll say that marijuana has been illegal in this country for a long, long, long time. And I believe the story goes, and again, people, if you know better than I do, please chime in. California was the first to make it illegal, and I believe, as the story goes, it had something to do with controlling the Mexican population. That's my understanding. That's my understanding. If you grew up in the era that I did, it was taught at school that marijuana was just as bad a drug as everything else. If I can remember correctly, it was classified with everything. So it didn't matter whether it was cocaine or heroin or marijuana, it was all put together.
Well, they used to call it the gateway drug. In other words, what they were saying in my youth was that if you smoked marijuana, you were more likely to go move up the scale to cocaine and heroin. So they were advising that you not even get started with smoking at all.
Right.
Because it would lead you,
it would lead to these other things, which I thought was ridiculous. Which I thought was ridiculous. I can't speak on everybody's experiences with marijuana, of course, but through my own, the only thing I ever wanted to do after smoking was eat. and I'm sure most people will agree. The infamous munchies would kick in, and that was the only thing that I ever felt from my smoking marijuana. But I will say this, through my experiences, or after looking back as to why I continue to smoke weed, so up to this day, a matter of fact, might be because it helped me deal with anxieties. It puts you at ease, and I'm talking about myself. I know some people would say, "Oh, well, when I smoke, I get paranoid." but I can't say that was always the case with me. With me, I it put me at ease, and so for me, I think it was a way of dealing with some of my anxiety. As I grew up or started mature, or whatever, if that makes sense. I think people find a medicinal use for marijuana more even realize in some ways. Of course, I've heard it used in medicinal ways for cancer. I know when I've been told when people lose their appetite because of chemo, they would prescribe marijuana to get them to eat, to build an appetite for them, things like that, or certain other ways marijuana was used medicinal. But as a drug that affects the mind, for me, it would put me at ease. And I think for a lot of people,
I appreciate that, Shaheen. What I would offer is that there are also other ways of dealing with anxiety than smoking, because it's not as if it teaches us how to think better or teaches us how to cope with anxiety in a different
right,
way or helps us to
right.
not become conscious in the first place. That's my interest. That maybe there are other things, maybe one could learn, maybe you could learn how to not be anxious.
That's true
And
too.
I
And of
know a
course,
lot of people think anxiety is inevitable. I don't think it's inevitable. I think it's a habitual trained response to natural stressors in the world.
true. And through maturity and over the years, I've learned, to deal with my anxieties a lot better, obviously. You
Mm,
learn,
mm,
you learn to I don't want to say cope. That's not the word I'm looking for, but you
mm,
learn to live, to deal with them in a more constructive way than you might have in the past.
mhm,
I'll say that.
mhm.
But marijuana was just a tool, at least for
At
me.
a least
To,
expensive way. Because remember,
mm,
a lot of people who are smoking are spending money that could go into college funds
that's
and
true.
apartment funds and vacations. A
That's
lot of
true.
times we're smoking that money, and then and that helps us to deal with our stress, could be considered like one of the rationalizations for that we use to not learn what's going on
Yeah.
internally. Hmm.
And that's one of the good things about marijuana though, because marijuana is one of the drugs that you can actually grow in your backyard or in your house. I mean, I can remember honestly when I was in high school, I can remember me and my friends actually growing it. Boy, we sneak in the back and take a piece of the backyard or whatever, or we be out in the woods, because back then around our area down here on the shore there was a lot of woods. There wasn't all these developments like it is now, and we go deep in the woods and we plant marijuana plants. Yes, and we would take care of them and harvest them. Now they never got as big as the plants you might see in California or in Jamaica or something, but they got big enough when we were smoking. We would take them and we dry them out and we would smoke them. You could take seeds from marijuana that you might have right now and go plant them and grow them. That's one of the beauties of marijuana is that
Did they smoke good? Did they smoke good? Like, was it a good
well,
high, or
marijuana is a
was it a
process
low
like anything else, and you had to
experience?
let it dry and things. Of course, us being anxious teenagers, we never let it dry the way we wanted. We always were too anxious to smoke it. We stick it in the microwave or something instead of letting it go through the through the. When we were teenagers, crazy teenagers in school, just acting crazy, doing us, and didn't have a lot of money, and we could grow marijuana. You could grow it, and I think that's one of the reasons why marijuana is considered an herb, isn't it? I believe it is.
It's considered an herb. Well, it's a plant.
Right.
It's
And
it's
so
a plant.
it's a
And so
natural
was
thing that
poison. So
grows
is
from Mother
poison.
Earth.
So was poison ivy.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But poison ivy doesn't have a medicinal
Look, isn't
purpose.
that why you hired me?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right.
You're right.
That's how I got this job, because I'm gonna look at it a different way.
You're right. You're
Uh,
absolutely right. And for so long, marijuana's had a stigma on it where people would hide in the back room, or go outside or whatever and hide smoking, and you didn't want people to know you smoke. If you had a job, you didn't want them to know you smoked marijuana, so you hid it, you know. Went around the streets looking for it, calling around, oh, does Tony have it, or does Mike have it, and it was a hidden world. It was a whole different world, like the drug community is. But now, because of the legalization, there's a freedom there. And I say a freedom because now you're not hunting around in the streets for it, looking for it. Now it's more sociably acceptable. Now we're not just necessarily hiding in dark rooms and smoking. We're able to smoke just the same way people smoke cigarettes. Now you're not allowed to smoke around children, and no one should smoke cigarettes around children or out in public or in public areas, and no one should smoke cigarettes out in public areas. But now there's the same freedom that comes with it, and it's a much better environment for people like me.
It's not necessarily socially acceptable just
Okay.
because it's legal. I mean,
Okay.
maybe one day it might become that, but right now it's people feel more free, and I always love it when people can come out the closet. I think being in the closet and hiding something you're doing or being or feeling is more detrimental than being out with it. But I don't find cigarette smoking socially acceptable. And just last night I had this good vibe um, going on. I want to see what Terry said. I had this. I didn't know that, baby.
Was
Ooh, what
talking
you
about
didn't
some of
know?
my personal experiences. Yeah, there's a lot
Oh,
coming out, people, for everybody tuning in. Yeah, you're gonna
yeah,
find out a lot
yeah.
about me.
But
But
just yesterday, I was in my apartment. I had my vibe. I had my music. I was making my art, and all of a sudden, this funk came into my apartment. The
mm-hmm.
funk of somebody else's.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was annoyed by it. Now it so
yeah.
happened that I have incense, and I went and put that on, but I didn't find that enjoyable, or it wasn't
No,
acceptable to me that somebody's habit could come wafting into my room.
right. But there's a responsibility that comes with it. I admit it. But on the same note, you wouldn't appreciate it either if there was someone smoking a cigarette and the smoke was coming in
No,
there either.
I wouldn't. I
No.
wouldn't
So
either. That's why I'm
right,
saying
right.
for me,
Right,
I don't know.
and for smokers, we understand that there's a responsibility that comes with it. There's knuckleheads in everything in the world. So there's knuckleheads who smoke too. There's someone just going to say, "Oh, the heck with my neighbors. I know that they don't smoke, but I don't care," and they're just going to, create a problem. But that's not for the responsible smokers. We're not
Yeah,
looking to
well, I mean,
cause trouble.
I wouldn't say my neighbor was irresponsible.
Okay,
I mean, she
okay,
she may not even be aware. She's doing her thing. She's a young
right.
woman. I'm 71. She strikes me as 30 something, 40
Oh,
something.
okay,
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't feel like, oh, she was irresponsible. And I'm not even saying I
right.
think she should have done something differently. I'm just
Okay.
saying I don't like it when I'm walking through the streets. I live in the inner city,
Yeah,
aka Harlem, and
yeah,
I'm smelling it. I don't like it
yeah,
in my environment. I don't care what people do in their privacy, but I don't want it
yeah.
impinging um, in my
And
space,
I can
even if I
understand
want
that
to look.
because even before it became legal in New York State, I can remember years ago walking through places like Central Park or Washington Square Park down in Greenwich Village, and people be open and cops not doing anything. I mean, the people be openly smoking like it was legal, and it wasn't at the time. But the police wouldn't bother them. The police wouldn't bother them. Um, in some places, New York back in the day, I can remember going through 42nd Street, and for those who can remember when 42nd Street wasn't what it is now, but back in the day, it was a dark place to be. People would be openly selling marijuana on the streets, and nobody doing anything about it. I mean, openly, didn't care if the police were around. Um, not saying it was right or wrong, but that was the world it was. For those who didn't smoke, I can understand why that would annoy you. I can understand why you wouldn't want that in your neighborhoods and things like that. But But again, understand that marijuana was also grouped in the same thing with cocaine and all these other drugs. So you would find it in the same areas, unfortunately, on the streets. But now you find it in controlled environments in these dispensaries, which I go to sometimes. I still call my friends up though, but I still go to this dispensary sometimes. I might have to take a trip there the next day or two. But anyway, it's a nice, clean environment. It's very professional. Yeah, I know. It's very professional. And for those who are listening, if you want to come join me, hey, it's all fun. Come on. But yeah, it's
that's
a
all
controlled
go
environment.
with Smoke Up Shaheem stuff. Yeah, come on, everybody. Let's go to Shaheem's house. His address
There is a
is
hip hop song.
Inbox me. I'll give you his address.
There's a hip hop song that goes, I got 5 on it. Boy, you come over my house, you better have 5 on it. But after that, we all good. You know, for those who don't know what 5 on it means dime bags. You gotta have 5 on it, at least half of it. That's what it means. Yeah, but back. I want to say this too, because now smoke is a different world in this way too. Before coronavirus, you didn't mind smoking in the group. Passing it around, puff, puff, pass. That was the famous words. After coronavirus, you're very careful about the people you smoke around. That's for sure. That's for sure. Because it goes in people's mouths, lips, saliva, everything is all over it. You're much more careful now about who you're smoking with than you might have been 10 years ago. That's for sure. That's true. For sure. And coronavirus did that. Because now, listen, even if I'm with a group and people are smoking, I'd much rather sit there and roll my own than smoke in a group. And that's even with some of my own family members. Now, I'm not saying I don't smoke with some of my family members. Some of them I just trust more than others. So I much more prefer to roll up my own and smoke it than sit around in a group and be sociable like it used to be back in the day. Because back in the days, you'd have 5 mouths on one joint. You know, something crazy like that. But no, not now. Not now. We're not even trying to see. Well, in fact, if you still smoke like that, or you smoke with your boys like that, let me know. Hit us up in the comment section. I sure like to know, because I don't get down like that after coronavirus. Not even. And that's the main thing.
So what about the pipe? Do you like the look of do you think the pipe adds something, whether it's a pipe with the leaves or whether it's a pipe with the oil in it? Like, is oil marijuana better or classier than, not that I've seen people do this.
I've never tried the liquid form. I never TC. What is it? TCH? I think I never. No, I never.
I've tried it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, really?
Okay. No. But I'm curious to know what you thought of it.
I think I liked it better.
Really?
It had less. Yes, it didn't have that burn, and I guess if you smoke a lot, you don't. The burn goes away. It didn't have that burn, and it didn't stink.
Gotcha.
It doesn't stink.
Because I know a lot of the young people today are into edibles. They are into edibles more than smoking. A lot of young people today. I'm not into that. Those edibles, boy, they can sneak up on you. Boy, they have you butt naked at a party dancing on the table. I can't mess with that. So you have to build up a tolerance to it. That's what it is. So for those who want to try edibles, try a little bit at a time. Don't go and eat the whole thing in one shot and then start spazzing out.
Don't do what I did. Shaheem, you know what I did?
What did you do?
About 5 or 6 years ago. A friend of mine who I adored made some brownies. And they were edibles, and so I was in the. We were making art and playing music, and I was in the mood for high. I thought, I want to be high, so I ate that little brownie. Wasn't happening. So about an hour later, I go, you know what? I'm gonna have a beer. So I have a beer.
Right,
baby. I was laid up in the bed. with the lights off, laughing, acting the fool,
Oh
feeling sick,
no.
because the edible was just, it started creeping up along with the beer.
Right.
So don't drink and do edibles.
No, no. And I'm telling you, be
I hope
careful
I'm
with them
not
edibles.
shocking you, Shaheem. Am I going to get fired?
Nah, of course not. But I would tell everybody, man,
Was
be
I
careful
hired
with
as
them
a good
edibles.
girl?
Huh?
Just making another joke, but go ahead about the edibles. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say again, edibles and brownies and all that. Be careful, people. Don't just if you're new to it, don't just think you're just gonna go, oh, it's just a brownie and eat it up and you're gonna be fine. It does not work like that. It does not work like that. Take your time with it. As far as me myself, I've been a smoker all my life, so I never liked the edibles or anything else much more. For me, it's like a guy who's a fine cigar smoker. For me, there's nothing more better or more pleasing than having a nicely rolled blunt in my hand, and I'm just sitting back in my thoughts, relaxing in a nice chair, maybe with a little cocktail, whatever it is, on the side, and I'm just smoking, just dreaming my, in my head, and just living my life and enjoying it. It's not like a good smoke. That's just how I do it. So I never liked the edibles and things like that. Not at all. But I know how big they are right now, especially like I said with the young people. You see them at parties all the time, all the time. That and the fancy bongs with all the hoses on. I never was in that hookahs and all that. It's fine. It's fun. It's very sociable and all that. But I'd just rather sit there with my nicely rolled blunt and just have at it. Hey, for those who prefer bongs, chime in. Tell me why. I know some of them you put water in them, and I've tried them. I tried them all. I've had the mask that you put over your face and all that, and all it made me really do was gag and cough more than anything else. But no, just a nicely rolled blunt, and I'm good to go. For me,
So
I don't know how people.
let's talk about the economics of it.
Yeah,
The
let's talk about it.
economics, the social economics, the reason that they're legalizing, that the states are legalizing marijuana may not be so much that they've discerned that it's good for us, but that they discern that they can make money from it. And so
Right,
now they're pulling the money out of the street, or intending to, so that now if you have a business and you're selling weed, you're taxed on that, which is then passed on to the purchaser. So I don't think that marijuana is being legalized because they've done some research and have found that it
right,
that it doesn't hurt you, or that it's
right, right,
healthy. No,
right.
because yeah.
There is money involved, and I'm glad you brought that up. I looked it up. The state of Colorado. Well, let me say this: the state of California was the first to legalize medical marijuana. I think it was in the 90s. I think I want to say 1996. Medical marijuana. State of Colorado followed soon after. Yada yada yada. Colorado made it free for everybody. I think in 2014, and started taxing it. From my understanding, they have made up to date $2.34 billion off the taxation of marijuana in the state of Colorado. So you believe me when I tell you, other states see this. Other states see this. They want the same thing. They want the tax money. And I don't know, I can't speak for other states, but I know in state of New Jersey, the tax money is supposed to go toward schools and roads, I believe. And I hopefully it does, but we all know politics. We all know politics. I'm hoping it goes to the right places. But there are billions of dollars to be made off the sale of marijuana. Now, that being said, first the state of New Jersey legalized it. And this is what happens, folks. The surrounding states, they see this. And they also see their residents going to those states, spending their money in other states. And they see that they're losing tax dollars. So right away, of course, the state of New York, they had a change of mind. and they follow New Jersey. And trust me when I tell you, the states in the surrounding area, they will soon follow. I promise you.
Yeah.
They want that tax money for their states, and they don't want their residents going next door spending their money.
Taking money out the state. And you know
Taking
what's
money
so
out the state.
fascinating is how monetized our culture is, because at one point we had the prison industry, right? So when they were arresting those young, I'm guessing mostly men and women, for selling on the
Yes.
street, that was
Yes.
putting money in the prison coffers, which
It
was
was.
also benefiting the state. So I'll bet that someone did the math and added up and realized that they can make more money legalizing
More money.
marijuana than they could
Yes.
arresting the people and putting them in jail. I think it's likely about the money.
It is about the
Not about them
money.
caring about us. Not them
Right.
caring about the people,
Thank you.
even if we ride on the benefit of it. So we may say, okay, I
Right.
benefit from it, but trust me, this is not about us. This is about money. And not
About
money for
money.
the city, but the money that the politicians or the business people put in their pockets.
Exactly. Trust me if I tell you, people, if the people in control, and I mean the money people, I don't even mean government. I don't even mean government. Understand what I'm telling you? The people who really are in charge, the money people, and you can call them
Mm-hmm.
Illuminati, whatever. If they thought that they could make
Mm-hmm.
more money putting our butts in jail, they were doing that rather than
Mm-hmm.
opening up these dispensaries. Trust me when I tell you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
all about money. Understand, people? See the big picture. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. It's all about money. So the state of New Jersey now sees that they can make a lot more money. But the state of New Jersey is a blue state. It's a blue state. So they were going to lean this way regardless for a lot of reasons, not just for the money. But in blue states, you see more social justice knocking at the door. I'm not going to say just going through, but knocking at the door more than you might see in red states. So we're a little different up here in the Northeast. And I know red states talk about it all the time. Oh, those people up in the Northeast, yada, 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 because we're blue states. And you see a lot more cries for social justice in these blue states than you see in red states. So there was a push for this to be legalized anyway behind the scenes, even if not for the money, for the prisons and all. This is a big story. I want to get into all of it right now. But the state of New Jersey saw that they could make the tax dollars, and slowly but surely you see more and more dispensaries open up. And trust me when I tell you, especially on the weekends, you go to these dispensaries, that line is around the building. And I wanted to mention that because it's around the building. You don't see thugs, hoodlums, crackheads on these lines. You see, I don't want to say respectable, but you see people who might be coming from work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyday person.
Thank you. That's what I meant to say. The
Yeah,
everyday
yeah.
person that behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes you might not have never known smoked marijuana,
Or
but
you would
because
assume they didn't, like people would assume I don't.
right. Well, you surprised
And,
me.
I,
I
and
got to tell
mostly I don't.
you.
Mostly I don't. Mostly I don't.
Right.
But I'm not one of those, I never, I'm not that kind of person. But it's
I
not
call
something
them
that I think about.
right. Or those people who say, "Oh, I tried it once." Those I call the Barack Obama smokers. Oh, I
Yeah,
tried it once, but yeah, use a Barack Obama right there.
yeah, I like that. I like that. But I
You
think
know,
it's,
but
I think we have an opportunity to look at the ways in which we're controlled. And although, and the
interesting.
people, it's like, what was that called when they made alcohol prohibition? So
Prohibition.
we, at one point,
Mm,
we were controlled by not being
mm.
allowed to drink alcohol, and then people went in their tubs and they made some that was like no problem.
They made that
They made
bathroom brew.
moonshine and they sold that, and then people said, okay, we can't control, the powers that be said we can't control that, so we're going to legalize um, drinking alcohol. And then we think, oh, this is for us. but who's making the money? The man who owns the liquor store, or the men or and women who own the liquor stores. So they're making money at our expense. And who's making money off of the
Off of them.
legal marijuana? It's
Oh,
they are. We're not.
they
So
are.
we think we're benefiting because we can smoke out in the open, but they have just found another way to get in our pants. And I use
Mm,
it that way. I know that's a little sexual, but that's to make it clear. Because if it was a woman giving her stuff up easily, they say, "Oh, you
mm,
letting people in your-" But we are giving over our power when we choose to spend our money on
right,
alcohol
right,
and drugs. And I really
right.
think that and other things could be makeup, hair, nails, I mean, I think
Mm.
that we really do need to look at the ways in which we are making other people rich and then
Rich,
being
rich.
mad at
Ah,
them for
well said.
being rich. So I
Well
think
said.
we really, if, and I'm not going to ask you, Shaheen, but you need
Mm-hmm.
to be able to answer, I believe, how much
Mm-hmm.
money you're spending on marijuana a week, a month, a year, because
Oh,
you may be
I know the exact amount.
finding. Okay, okay, is it something you want to say or you don't want to say? I'm
No,
not
I'm not
asking
telling
you.
people over the world, but only because I budgeted in as my entertainment money as anybody else would. Like somebody might
Okay,
budget in, oh, I drink a 6-pack of beer a day or whatever. Just the same, somebody would budget that in. I just
okay.
budgeted in like that, and so I have an
Okay,
idea.
and to be honest, sometimes I find myself in I need shoes, and I find myself in the art store, and then I go, oh, I'm blind and I'm unconscious because I see a color that speaks to me. So now
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
the art store. But I think what happens with things like marijuana, alcohol, food, hair products, nails,
Mm-hmm.
that we are spending unconsciously, and that we're not
Mm,
realizing. And then we say, "I'm broke." Many people will spend money that they could use for other things for things that really aren't going to grow them. And so of course,
mm.
we want to spend money on what we call entertainment, always a
Right.
movie, but
Everybody does.
realize also take a look at what you're spending and what you're spending on. You may just have drank up or smoked up a college fund for
Mm.
a child.
That's a whole nother show right there. What we spend on, yeah, no, I get it. And I definitely understand.
I think we
And
have to
so,
look at
yeah,
this rather than just be
we,
happy that they've legalized marijuana like they've done it for us. They don't do it for us. They do it for them.
mm, they do it
They
for
do it
them.
for them. And then we empower them by engaging to some degree. Now,
That's another
I
reason why I
say
wanted to do
we're
this so
now.
bad, to get that point out there. To get that point out there that this is not done for us. It is not done for us. It's done for them. Believe me when I tell you. And real quick though, you
Uh-huh.
bringing up prohibition and bathroom brew made me think of my grandfather. My grandfather would make moonshine. I swear. Yeah, I swear. My grandfather, rest his soul, man. Yeah, he had a still in the basement. I still remember it to this day. But anyway,
Oh, wow. And it was
yes, he did.
probably
My grandmother would
healthier.
say,
And
"Don't you go
that's
down
the
that
other
basement."
thing. That's the other thing,
Oh,
Shaheen. What your grandfather knew what he was putting in his alcohol. We don't know what they
oh yeah.
putting, in some of that stuff and the distilling and whatever and the
Mm,
chemical. I mean, we don't know what they're. It's like the difference
no,
between
no,
eating
no.
at home, cooking your own food, and
Right,
going to restaurants and eating. When you eat at home, you
right,
know better what you're eating and
right,
how you're seasoning your food. A lot of
right.
times, I was looking at the menu for Sylvia's restaurant in New York City. God bless her soul, cousin of
Yeah,
mine
yeah.
too, and she had a
Oh.
cookbook, and in every recipe there was sugar, like every recipe. So when we eat out, we're likely eating a lot more sugar because
Mm,
people put sugar and chemicals into the food to make us want to eat it. So, and food is a drug, even though we're talking about um,
Mm,
weed, food is a drug as well. So I think
envy.
I like the idea of moonshine and growing your own.
Yeah, yeah, he would definitely do it. But also, growing marijuana on your own is not a bad idea if you can do it. It's not
If you
because
can
not only
wait, if
only
you can
because
wait,
I'm here. If you can wait, yeah.
you can wait
Nice.
for it to
I can
dry.
appreciate that. Nice. Yeah, no,
And once you wait,
because
you only have to wait once, Shaheem, because once you wait once, now you're in a cycle that you're always either
that yeah,
planting or reaping. I'm trying to sound like I know
right.
farming, but you only have to wait that one time. So I say, if you can, it's do they call it like they have organic food? I'll bet there's organic weed. They may not be
I wouldn't
talking
be
about it.
surprised.
They probably put all kinds of chemicals in that weed.
Well, my point is about growing it is this that I've been hearing, and this is the thing about you were saying about knowing what's going in it. I've been hearing that people have been trying, well, have been uh putting fentanyl on marijuana plants. That's what I'm hearing. That's scary. That's very scary. Now, I doubt if you're going to pick up something like that at a dispensary, because there's a whole network that this stuff goes through. But if you're getting off the streets, I think you should take note of this because fentanyl, as you know, as everybody knows, because you hear it every day on the news, whatever,
Mm,
fentanyl is turning up everywhere,
mhm,
everywhere, and you don't just have addicts on the street dying from it, but you have well-known, famous, well-to-do people dying from it just the
mm,
same.
mm,
So you have to be careful
mm,
about where you're getting your stuff from and what you're getting, because you could end up dead just
mm,
trying to have fun, and that's a shame.
mm,
And so that's another reason why I wanted to press the issue about growing it. Or go to the dispensaries, people. I mean, again, they're there for you, and I hate to say it, but it's safer. It's safer, and in today's world, you got to be careful. Got to be careful. I can't tell you the number of people that I've seen on the news, famous and otherwise, that turned up dead because of fentanyl. Be careful, people. Please be careful out there. You don't want to do it to your family. Trust me when I tell you. So yeah, I think I'm going to be going to the dispensary soon, and even though I got people that I call, I'm starting to really shy away from that because of all the news that I'm hearing out in the streets.
Shaheem is like, I'm going to have some fun. I'm
Yeah,
about to go to the
it's fun.
dispensary.
Yeah, and then to the snack store. And people chime in because I wanted to say this earlier in the show. I wanted people to chime in. For those smokers out there, what is your favorite snack? What is your favorite snack? Put it in the comment section, please, because I'm curious.
Now, I'll tell you what's tricky about that for me,
All right.
any and everything.
What's that?
Any and everything.
Any and
Things that
everything?
I say I don't eat, I'll be eating if I smoke. But of course, potato chips
Oh,
and
chips. Them
Fritos
Doritos, boy.
and
Oof. And
McDonald's fast foods.
and
Because once you got the munchie, you want to
them
be
French
eating it
fries.
fast. So, oh my God, munchies and a snack. I don't know that I've ever done it, but it sounds like, oh my God, like such a, can you imagine?
And
Oh
this is
my
one for me
God.
too. This is one for me too. I'm a sucker for cookies. If I'm smoked out, yeah, I could tell. I'll go through a whole pack. I actually have to stop myself because I will go through a whole pack of cookies for real. So that's mine. And like you said, oh man, McDonald's don't even. Woo.
Ice cream, the
Oh,
cold milk and the sugar just running down your throat.
I had ice cream yesterday, lots of it, and for those who don't know, I'm lactose intolerant. So I paid for it the whole night, the whole entire night. But I want to say this.
Do
It
you
was
mean
worth
Terry
it.
paid for it? Do you mean Terry paid for it? Your wife paid for
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
it?
But I love you, babe.
Yeah. I
And
smell
it
you.
was worth it. It was
For
worth it.
you.
It was worth it. I hope my wife don't put up any crazy. But yeah,
Go
for
ahead,
those out
put it
there who
up.
smoke,
Put it up, wife. Put
no,
it up.
don't you embarrass
Do,
me. You gotta
do.
live with me.
Come
Don't you
on.
embarrass me. You gotta live with me. Tell me what your favorite snacks are, people. I'm real curious about that. Because don't try to act like you don't get hungry afterwards. We all do. Every one of us. No one's immune to it. So I know you're hitting the 7-Eleven right after you smoke. Or for those in our area, the Wawa.
Well, if you're smart, you gather it before.
You get it before. See, you want to get it before too, for a number of reasons. The last thing you want to do is go shopping for food or snacks when you're already high. That's the last thing you want to do. Now you're picking up stuff like Fruity Pebbles. Now you're picking up stuff you don't normally get. You got a whole apple pie. What you got apple pie for? It ain't Thanksgiving.
You said you didn't like. I don't like these gummy things. And next thing you know,
Next thing
you're
you know, you
piling in the
shoveling
gummy worms. The texture of it.
You shoving them in your mouth. And when I was a kid, I used to always hear, in school or on things, those crazy those public service announcement films they used to show us. Oh, if you smoke weed, you start hallucinating. Oh, if you smoke weed, you turn into a criminal. All these bad things. None of those things were true. None of those things were true. The only after effect I ever got from smoking marijuana was the munchies. That's it for me. I never wanted to break in anyone's house or anything. Oh, see, I knew she was going to put up something crazy. Or,
What
my
she
wife.
said? Oh,
What she just say? Yes, I did.
I did. She suffered from it. Yes,
a little
I
bit.
did.
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah,
Thanks
but it
for
was
embarrassing
worth
me,
it.
baby. Oh, it was worth it. It was delicious.
Listen, we all knew. I mean, we have imaginations. Now, you know
I
what?
would.
How about smoking and creativity?
Oh,
How
oh
about
man. Oh, that's a good one.
marijuana and creativity?
That is a really good one, and I'm so glad you brought that up because when I'm smoking, it frees my thoughts up. It kind of takes me away on another plane, and I'm able to imagine. I'm able to dream a little deeper, if that makes sense. Which makes my writing more creative. That's to me. That's to me. Some people might look from the outside, might say, "Well, you're just as creative without it." I don't feel that. I don't feel that. I feel when I'm smoked out that it frees my thoughts up, and I'm able to drift away on a whole entire different plane.
Honey, what do you mean smoked out? Does that mean bombed out of your head with smoke, or
No,
does it
no,
mean
that
when you're
that that's
smoking?
that when I reach that level of comfortability, when I'm there,
Okay, when you're
because
done, when you can
yeah,
stop.
yeah,
Have you
yeah.
ever created something smoking or drinking, and while you were creating it, you thought, "Oh my God, this is brilliant," and then you put it aside and you look at it when you're not high and you read it, and it's like, eh. You ever have
All
that
the time,
experience?
all the time. Sometimes I look back at something and say, "What planet was I on when I wrote this?"
Exactly. Exactly. So
but
so a lot of times the creativity is an illusion. You just feel
but
more
no,
creative
no, no,
and you
no, no,
feel
no.
more free.
No, it does free you in a sense that you're able to think outside the box. So even though it was something crazy that I wrote, I was still outside the box when I wrote it. I was able to get to a different place when I wrote it. And I want my songs or my vision to come from different places. I can always go back and look and say it's crazy or not, but I want to get these different visions. It's important for me to have these different visions. It's important for me to
If I
see
have
things
to
in a
be
different light.
high, if I have to be high to enjoy what you created when you high, then
No, that's not it. It's just allowing me to I got that. No, it's just allowing. I'm just speaking for me to look at things from a different angle, and hopefully, when people hear it or see that vision, they can appreciate the fact that it came from a place that they wouldn't have thought of. That's what it is.
My sense of creativity
Mm-hmm.
is that it's always coming from a source within, or it's always, we're always free. And if the only reason that we can access freedom when we're smoking or drinking, it's because it's always there. If it wasn't there, we couldn't access it. And so
Right.
now the idea is to really be able to master yourself and learn to be creative and learn to be free, whether you're smoking or not. A lot of
Right.
artists said that what made them think they were that they were more creative when they, let's say, drank. I'm more familiar with drinking and writing and poets. And then for some reason they have to go to AA and stop. And then they discover that, oh my God, I'm still creative. I am actually more creative, and that they were creative in spite of their drinking or smoking.
That's funny.
I hope I'm
That's
not
funny
throwing
because
cold water on your high, but
I know a number of artists, mainly rock groups, who've had that experience when they were young. They were getting high and everything, and the music was raging and everything was great. And as they got older, they got off the drugs and everything. There's several groups who have that story, and in my opinion, I've noticed that when they got off the drugs, their music wasn't as good. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You know, that the music just wasn't as good as it was when they were getting high. That's my opinion. Now I don't want to promote getting high as a way for people to free their souls. That's not what I'm saying. But
and I am saying that getting high and being creative, I think it's an illusion.
okay.
I think it's an illusion, and I think we can learn how to be free. It's like those people who can't hit on a woman or hit on a man unless they're high. It's like, baby, you want to learn to do a hit while you're sober. So if you're thinking that you can only have confidence because you're slightly inebriated or you're out your mind, then you're missing the opportunity to learn really how to
Right.
connect with yourself so that you can connect with other people.
Right. There's a whole issue there for those who feel they need to take something to be able to do those things. I hear what you're saying.
To
For
enjoy
me, for my
themselves,
creativity,
they can't enjoy
right,
themselves unless they're high. When you
right,
went to the party, you described going to a family party a couple of broadcasts back, and you said you weren't drinking. Which,
right.
when I heard that, I was like, wow, very impressed, Shaheem. But did you smoke instead? I mean, or were you able to enjoy the party without being high, or did you just have a different
Well,
marijuana
I
high?
want to say this, and make no mistake about it. I'm high all the time when I'm home. I'm high all the time. There's not a point where I'm not. I smoke from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, so I'm always high. So at those parties, yeah, I didn't drink, but I did smoke. But I'm always high. I'm older though, and I only say that to say I don't feel like I need to smoke to be myself or anything. I'm way past all of that at this point. Maybe
How
if you'd
would
asked
you
me that in my
know
20s,
who yourself is? How would you
because
know
I'm not
who
always high.
yourself
Because I'm
is?
not always high. I'm not
You just
always high.
said you were
Like I
high
said,
all day. You just
yeah,
said
when
you
I'm
were high
home,
all
but
day.
when I'm
You're
working
home
or the days after
when you
work,
go to work.
I can't go to work high. I'm sure there's people who do, but for what I do, no. So I'm not always high. But when I'm home relaxing, yes. If I'm home for the weekend, like I am this weekend, enjoying this beautiful sun but cold weather, yeah. But I've been like that since God, man. Like for those who've been paying attention to today's show, what time is it? Ooh. For those who've been paying attention to today's show, my first experiences with weed was when I was very young. So I've been smoking practically all my life. All my life. It's just who I am. But again, I don't feel like I need weed to be who I am as a person. I smoke because I enjoy it, flat out. like people have heard me say, I'm just like no different than that person who enjoys that fine cigar and sits back with that nice cognac and just smokes and enjoying life. I'm that person. I don't feel like I needed to be myself at all or anything like that. Now, if you ask me that in my 20s, you might have got a different answer,
Well,
but I'm
then
not that.
why do
I'm
you
not there
smoke so much? Why do you
because I
smoke
like
so
it.
much?
I just said I enjoy it. I enjoy
Yeah,
smoking. I truly
but
enjoy
but
it.
I like spare ribs. I can't eat it all day. Like, I don't, and I enjoy it. That's like rationalizing it. I
I
enjoy
would,
it. Yeah, well,
yeah.
I enjoy watching television. I can't sit, I should ought not sit and watch television all day because that's going to interfere with my own creativity.
Do you do it
You
sometimes?
know, I enjoy sex. I'm not going to do sex all the time because I enjoy it.
But there,
You know,
but there are
things
people who
are
do.
to be there. Well, we're not, that's, yeah, but we're not trying to be like, yeah,
People are different. People are different, and
oh,
so
no. If somebody,
yeah,
nah, I mean, people are different, of course.
yeah.
But I'm just suggesting that you're saying that I do it because I enjoy it as a rationalization, and I don't think that there's a truth in that. You make it sound good, but if I applied that to other things, I mean, look, some people enjoy killing people. They're called serial killers. They get a kick out of that. So enjoying it is not the reason to me to do something
Well,
to do it
that's fine. I,
recreational.
I understand the point that you're trying to make, but I just feel differently. That's all. I
Fine,
do it
yeah,
because I
but
enjoy it. And I think people should do the things that they enjoy in life. I mean, life can't be all work. So you want to play. And so you do the things that you enjoy. And so I just so happen I enjoy smoking marijuana, like so many other people. And so that's what it is. I'm drinking it. I'm not smoking because I feel the need to be someone else or anything like that. I smoke because I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I like sitting there with I'm gonna smoke as soon as we get off this show. As soon as we get off this
and
show. But that's right. But that's me.
people who are alcoholics say they drink because they enjoy it. People
Mm.
who, but anyway, I made my point, and you made yours, and
Yeah.
that is why I am Aunt Debbie, folks. I'm here to have that auntie kind of uh, point of view, but I'm
She's
not
here to get
buying
on
it.
us.
I'm here to
She's
love
here to
up
get on
on
us,
you.
people.
I'm here to love. I'm here to love up on you.
And believe me when I
Yeah,
tell you, we're gonna start ending the show soon. But that went fast, didn't it? Even though
it
we
did.
didn't have our
But I
partner
do
here.
think you should show us some of your. Do you have some of your items that you sell? I mean, because you're always talking about your cannabis business. I know there's a tray and there's a T-shirt. This would be the
Oh,
perfect
hands
show for
free.
us to see it better. Like if you could hold it
Yeah,
up,
I
even
can show
you don't have. Yeah, I'd like to
some of these
see some
products
of the
real
stuff
fast.
that
But
you're. Hmm.
for those who are interested, you can check out the website, or you can check it out on my website on shaheem.com. But for those who don't know, I do have a site that sells paraphernalia for cannabis, and one of our biggest things are these tray sets that we have. Like this one I'm showing you right now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's a little shadowy right now.
Oh yeah, we
Can't
can't
really
see the
tell.
artwork.
Yeah, you can't see the artwork,
Who
but
is that in the
unfortunately,
center?
I have
Who
to
is
post
who?
it. Well,
Oh,
this is the New
in the
York Giants.
center.
That's what this one is, and
Oh,
it
oh,
comes
oh,
with
oh, oh, okay.
yeah, and they come with matching trays. I'll post it up after the show, people, and it
Yeah, you
comes with
should post.
the
Yeah,
tray and the
yeah.
matching ashtray and the matching container and everything, and they're going for
Mm-hmm,
$40, and you can see them on my website. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I'd appreciate if anybody goes check them out.
And
Thanks for
and
mentioning
you
them,
don't
Debbie.
have to smoke to buy your stuff, right?
No, you don't have to smoke.
I can
They
enjoy
make a
it,
beautiful
right? If
gift.
I'm not, I can enjoy it. I can because it's matching and it's just
You
utilitarian,
can,
so anybody can enjoy it, right?
yes, you can. But for those who are non-smokers, I would say these products make wonderful gifts for the smoker in your life. a lot of us don't smoke, but have partners or know of someone
Wait.
who does
Why is
smoke.
it special a tray? Doesn't anybody use a tray? Why is it
Yeah,
special
but
to
they
smokers?
come in sets, and so there's the ashtray and there's the storage jar for marijuana. So they come in sets.
Okay.
I don't sell them
So,
separate. They come as whole sets, and that's why I say
so
that.
here's
So
what
for you
I
don't
would do
smoke,
with the ashtray. I would put my
okay.
vitamins in that. I would put my vitamins in the ashtray.
I need to relabel that. They're not just ashtrays; they're also pill keepers.
Absolutely. Or when I take off my earrings, if often I would put them in the ashtray, so I can
ah,
find them later.
even idea. I got to
And
start
I'm
relabeling.
getting these
And thanks for
ideas, and I'm
bringing it
not
up.
smoking. I'm not even smoking, and I
You're
and
giving
I'm
me some
getting these
ideas for some
ideas.
products, though. I got to tell you, you are. So thank you
Uh,
for that. This has
uh,
been great. This has been
this
great.
has been good. I
Yeah,
enjoyed you,
it has been.
Shaheem. I'm glad we had this time together.
And I enjoyed talking to you on Debbie, and I appreciate the
Thank
time we spent
you.
together too. Thank you. Well, I guess it's about that time.
It
You want
is.
to talk about what you got coming up in upcoming week?
Well, I just yesterday I did a photo shoot and I was interviewed about my work as a Black feminist in the 1970s, and some young women
Oh,
was telling
wow.
was their hero, and it was very beautiful. And I'm teaching a class on
That is big.
for people to learn how to read their own natal charts. So that's and I'm about to finish a major piece of work. So that's what I've got going on.
Wow. You're staying busy. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And for those who want to reach on Debbie, you can reach her at visioncarriers@aol.com.
That is
Definitely reach
correct.
out to her.
Yeah.
And for me, people, you already know what I got going on, and you can see it right behind me. Make sure you go get my single Waitlist that's available right now. It's available everywhere, iTunes, Amazon
I
Music,
got
and
it.
also,
I got
yes, you
it.
did. Thank you for all your love and support on Debbie. I really appreciate it. But also, go get my other song, too. It's on tonight. Both are available, iTunes. Yeah, you got that one, too. Thank you again for all your love and support. Available on iTunes, Amazon Music, and everywhere. Show your boy some love. Come on. And go out and get that, all right? The money that I get from that does not go in my pockets. It only allows me to create more things for you guys. So I'd appreciate the help. Thank you very much. And that's it. And also, I wanted to shout out Boom. Again, Boom, I had an emergency. He couldn't be here today. So we want to make sure that him and his family are okay. We send him all our love and prayers, and for those who pray, and positive energy. And we hope everything's going to be okay. And we look forward to seeing him next week. But as you know, Boom, you catch him during the week at his events, his karaoke and things. And so look for him on it was that DJ Boom at boomdjs.com, I believe that is. So there you have it, people.
Or on Facebook and Instagram, DJ Boom.
Or Facebook and there you go. There you go. All right, everybody. We want to thank you. She's gonna be shooting shots at me all week, y'all. All week.
No,
Help your
I'm
boy
not.
out. Help your boy out.
I'm going to continue loving you forever and ever.
And I, as well, will continue to love you forever and ever. And my wife says, congratulations for all that you got going on.
Terry.
Debbie, we're very proud of you. Big things,
Thank you.
Things. And we want to thank everybody for sharing your Sunday with us. It was a beautiful conversation. We hope you enjoyed it, and we want you to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I am the one and only Shaheem.
Deborah Singletary, a.k.a. Aunt Debbie.
And the one on DJ Boom, who's not here, will be here next weekend. But enjoy your week, everybody. We will see you next weekend at From the Shore to Be More. Bye.
Bye.